Welcome to this week's episode of State Champs Chat. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Lauren.
And I'm Kira.
We're back together again, us three. And we're going to start off with what's trending. First, we're going to talk about Khalid Kareem. He is a high school football player from here in Michigan. He went to Harrison High School, and he just committed about an hour ago to Alabama.
Yes,
Fresh
he
off the
did.
press.
He got offers from like 29.
I think 39
39.
offers. He had a
That's
ridiculous
crazy.
amount of offers, and apparently it was down between Michigan, Notre Dame, and Alabama.
Anyone but Alabama. Anyone but Alabama. I don't want to hear Roll Tide.
Alabama.
I mean, they're
Michigan.
outstanding.
Well, yeah. but
They
if-
actually have won national championships.
And they have a
Michigan
great
hasn't.
coach.
Yeah.
Saban.
No, I'm not surprised. Alabama has been to way more national championship games than Michigan, but obviously I would have chosen Michigan. So
Go
Blue. So would have Lauren, but
Yeah.
Can't
Well, this
hate
kid
on
is
him.
amazing. He's a
Yeah.
strong side defensive end. He's 6'4", 225 pounds, just a massive monster, basically. So it's no wonder why he got so many offers, you know?
Yeah.
People want him.
I wonder if Ohio State was in the mix there too.
Maybe for a little bit.
They're probably one of the 39. I'm sure they are.
Insane.
Yeah. But congratulations. Hope you do well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Literally happened really recently.
Roll Tide.
Now we're going to talk about the NHL salary cap. It was just released yesterday. The salary cap for next season is now $71.4 million. That's up about $2 million from the 2014-2015 season. And it's going to be a big issue for some teams, including the Blackhawks, the recent champions of the Stanley Cup. They're going to have to make some big cuts to their core members on their team.
Yeah, but I did read that they kind of went through the same thing in 2010.
They did.
You know, clearly they bounced back from it. So
Yeah,
even though it's going
they
to hurt them, they should be fine, just fine.
Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews are their two main players. They're signed for over 10 years, I believe, and they're making over $10 million each, and so that puts a big dent in their salary cap, but obviously they're keeping them. They're sticking around forever. The Blackhawks will never let go of them, but some other key players are definitely going to be in the mix as possible trades. Patrick Sharp is one of them, which I'm really sad to say because he's my favorite.
Well, enough of the Blackhawks right now. I want to talk about the Red Wings for a little bit, my team. So they actually have 17 players signed right now for $56 million, which gives them kind of a big gap to work with, you know. But they do have to keep in mind that Justin Abdelkader is an unrestricted free agent, and same with Helm. So they really need to keep track of that when they're drafting new players on July 1st.
Yeah. But they do have a good gap.
Yeah, they do.
I think Chicago's at 65, which isn't a big
Which
gap.
is not at all.
So that's why it's such an issue for them. But
We'll see how it plays out.
in the NHL also just made a new rule. They just voted on it yesterday, I believe. Overtime is now going to be 3-on-3.
3-on-3. Is that for the NHL or the AHL?
It has been in the AHL.
Okay, and now it's for the
NHL
NHL.
just voted on it, that they approved it for the first regular season overtime.
How do you guys feel about that?
I think it's interesting. They said, they want to open up the ice more to 3 players and hopefully give them more to work with, and lower the amount of shootouts.
Okay.
I can see that happening because a lot of the time the overtimes do go into shootouts. So I can see how they would want the game to play out.
Is such a
exactly
hard way to lose a game.
Fun way to win, but hard way to lose.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess reducing the number of shootouts isn't a bad thing. We're also going to talk about some coaching changes. First, let's talk about high school since we know about high school sports here in Michigan. Plymouth High School's girls basketball coach is leaving, and they have a new coach, Ryan Ballard. He's taking over for Nick Brandon, and the Wildcats just had their best season this year for 2014-2015.
Wow.
So there's kind of a lot of pressure, so I just wanted to talk about this because how hard do you guys think it is to come into a situation where a team has been so successful and to have that pressure to continue that success?
It could go to extremes, I feel. Because when you're a new coach, you go in and you want to make changes. You're excited for your position, but that can go, to extremes.
And that's what he said. He said we kind of have a different coaching style, but the coach said, I'm confident. I don't think there's any reason why I couldn't have success with this team. He said there's a great group of girls, have like 4.0s, really outstanding group of girls, but it is difficult.
I feel like if a coach goes in confident, then he knows what he has to do. He knows how to relate to the players. He knows what to do to be able to make them have more success like they did last year.
It probably is easier, though, to come coach for a team that's not doing well.
Yeah,
Then,
if you think about Harbaugh.
Well, yeah, so
and
that's
Michigan
what I want
Wolverines,
to bring up too.
exactly.
Now Harbaugh's going into Michigan, and kind of the opposite of this. There's so much pressure on him to turn around a program that hasn't been successful.
Yeah.
Which do you think is more difficult?
I definitely think going into a successful team is more difficult because if they start doing bad, you're automatically.
Yeah, it's on you.
I think so too. But what I like about Harbaugh, which is still awesome, I think that he could still be successful going into a place where they were recently successful. He breaks down the game to fundamentals. He really just focuses on the core fundamentals of the game. Yeah. And I think that that's why he is so successful wherever he is, the 49ers, every other place that he's been. So I like him coming into Michigan to coach them because he really breaks down the game into what really matters. And it's the same everywhere. Do
you think that he's going to be more successful this year, or do you think it's going to take a couple years?
I think that they're definitely going to be more successful this year than they were last year with Brady Hoke, but I think to get to their ultimate peak, I think it's going to take a couple years, definitely, especially because Michigan is such a young team as well. We have a lot of great freshmen and sophomores, so I think that for them to reach their peak as well, it'll take a few years.
Now it's time to talk about our Athlete of the Week. Lauren loves golf, so
our
Athlete of the Week had to be this week, Jordan Spieth. He just won the U.S. Open, his second major. And he's the youngest person to win 2 majors.
He's 21 years old, turns 22 in July. He's the
Are you counting down?
Yeah. He is the second youngest person to win 2 major golf tournaments.
Tiger's next?
His name was Bobby, and he won it in 1923, I believe. Was the last guy that was 21 to win 2 majors.
And Tiger
in a row.
He was 26.
Yes.
When he won 2 in a row. So, I can't believe he won 2 in a row at age 21, and now people are saying, could he be on track for a Grand Slam, which would mean winning the U.S. Open
in July,
the Masters, British Open, and the PGA all in 1 year? But a lot of people are saying that's still really, really difficult.
I know. Well, they actually asked him that at the end of the tournament, and they're like, so going for the Grand Slam now, he's like, you just got to take it one day at a time. He's a very, very humble guy, which I appreciate about him. So even after all the success and all the riches that he's making, he still is kind of grounded and he knows what's important. So I think that's cool. He doesn't focus on winning the next thing. He focuses on the day by day, just everything that he has to do.
I think he said it's in the realm of possibilities. So we'll see. That should be interesting. I mean, Tiger.
Poor Tiger. Oh, he did horrible. Jimmy Fallon made a whole joke about him on his show. Like, it's just all bad for him.
Poor guy. I know Jordan Spieth posted a photo on Instagram of his bed when he got home with the Masters green jacket and the US
my gosh,
Open
that
trophy.
is so cool.
And everyone's like, that's not a casual, unpacking that most people have when they get home from a trip. So that was pretty funny. Speaking of social media, now we're going to talk about a hot topic, athletes in social media. A Red Sox player, Pablo Sandoval, was just suspended for being on Instagram during a game.
And being creepy. He was liking a bunch of girls' pictures.
And commenting on one of them.
Who doesn't like pictures?
But they say he's known before as the panda bear because he's a bigger guy, but now he's going to be known as the double tapper because he double taps everyone's Instagram pictures to like them, which is funny.
Apparently he was going to the bathroom during the game though. And social media is tricky, but you can't be on your phone during the game.
Yeah, that's like anybody though. Like if you're at work and you're like in the bathroom and then your boss sees, anybody can get in trouble. You just gotta be really careful.
I think that's different than being at a normal job. You're a pro athlete and making millions and millions of dollars. Like I think you cannot check your phone for 3 hours. I don't think you'll die.
Also, especially being a professional athlete, you're in the spotlight. So no matter what you do, you think of other people like Jameis Winston. They all get in trouble for tweeting things that they shouldn't tweet. I mean, people are young.
Social media is tricky. A lot of athletes I know don't even have any social media because it's
almost the safest route to go.
It is. It's almost just that added pressure that people are constantly watching where
people
you're
are constantly
going,
watching
what you're doing, posting
and they're
photos
looking.
of you.
They're almost looking for ways to get people in trouble. You know what I mean? Like even if it's the littlest thing. People make it the biggest deal.
It was kind of just talking about a little thing being a big deal. I think it was back in either March or May when LeBron James kind of went on a social media blackout. He double tapped some girl's picture, and apparently she's seen that as a sign from God that she should drop out of veterinarian school and become a butt model. So like that, I don't know if you guys seen it, but it like blew up when it happened. Like, oh my gosh, LeBron James liked some girl's picture, and it was probably like one of those accidental double taps. And it
do those all the time.
Huge deal, right? So it's like social media is like a lose-lose.
You have to be careful, and it reminds me of a high school player here in Michigan, J. Rue Campbell, who was quarterback at Cass Tech. We've talked about him before, I believe, and sad he went to jail a couple times. And now is just committed to play quarterback at Garden City Community College.
But he was committed to Michigan State, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was committed to Michigan State before all this jail time happened. But he has been interesting on social media. So you just have to watch yourself, guys. This is a lesson for all of you.
But
Watch
also, good
yourselves
luck on your second chance
on
to
social
gamble.
media.
Always try to present the best possible you on social media if you're presenting yourself at all. You know.
Now, a quick score or fumble. The Tom Brady appeal case was yesterday. Apparently went over 10 hours, and Tom Brady didn't speak, but his representatives made a really good case, apparently, really compelling, saying there was no direct evidence leading Brady to the deflation of the balls, and he apparently was very genuine. So now, but is that good enough for Roger Goodell to say, you know, I'm taking back the suspension? Do you think that's going to happen?
I mean, it's basically at this point he said, she said, if there's no clear-cut evidence. But at the same time, there was evidence that was kind of found that they found in the past, and I feel like they can't just like go over that. You know, I feel like that's something that happened, and consequences need to be.
So do you think it's a score or a fumble?
I think it's a score that they're doing the trial in the first place, but I think it's a fumble that they're kind of trying to get him out of it. Yeah, exactly.
And apparently the NFLPA will probably take this to federal court if Goodell does not change the suspension, if he doesn't at least reduce it some. So I think that it's a touchy subject. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a fumble. Tom Brady should just take the suspension and go home.
I think so too. Definitely fumble.
We'll see. This could take a really long time to find out. Cases sometimes take months and months. So we'll see how this one plays out. And thanks for tuning in this week, guys. Remember, this is your show. We want to talk about you, sports, and what's trending. So make sure to tweet at us. Let us know on social media what you want us to talk about. And thanks for tuning in every week. We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.